This is not a block-by-block tutorial, but instead, I'll be teaching you Minecraft's basic mechanics
as simple and as easy to understand as possible. Today I'll be covering the Pillager Raid farm. Pillager raids occur when a player with the Bad Omen effect steps into a village area. But how do you get the Bad Omen effect, and what counts as a village area? To get Bad Omen, as the 1.21 update, the player must consume the ominous potion dropped by a banner pillager or a trial vault. If you're playing anything before 1.21, killing a banner pillager gets the Bad Omen effect automatically. You can find pillagers from patrols or pillager outposts. On these outposts, pillagers can spawn anywhere within a 72 by 72 by 54 area, centered on the top floor of the outpost. That means 36 blocks horizontally and 27 blocks vertically. Pillagers need a solid block with 2 air blocks above it and a block light level of 8 or below to spawn. Next, a village technically is a 3x3x3 subchunk, with its center being a claimed POI block, which is either a job block, a bell, or a bed, or all of them. If the POI block is the bed, the pillar part of the block counts as the center. But what is a subchunk, you might ask? A subchunk is just a 16 block high area of a chunk, which is a 16 by 16 area anywhere from the bottom of the world to the top of the world. An important thing to understand is that the village center is not the subchunk center. So if the POI block is here, that is the village center, even though the village center is not in the middle of the subchunk. Once a raid is triggered, a raid center will be determined. A raid center is the average distance between all available village centers within a 64 block radius of the player at the moment that the raid is triggered. For example, if you are standing here when the raid is triggered, the center of the raid will be around here. But if you're standing here, one of the village center is not in the 64 block radius of the player, making the raid center here. If there is only one village center, then that will become the raid center. If at any point during the raid, a village center is lost, whether a villager is killed or the block is broken, a new center will be determined the same way. The average distance between available village centers that are initially part of the raid, regardless of where the player is. Meaning, if you're standing here during a raid and this POI is lost, even if there is another village center within a 64 block radius of you, it will not count towards determining the new raid center. The recentering of the raid occurs in between waves. It's monumentally easier to build your raid farms with only one valid village and away from any other potential village centers. The wiki is quite vague on where the raid will spawn, saying that it starts far from the village center and gets closer depending on the cooldown. But what we can gather is that it spawns within 96 blocks of the Y level, and it prefers to spawn outside of the village area, but if there is no valid spawning area, it can spawn in the village center. But I did find this video by IanX4 that says, a raid will first try and spawn within a 64 block radius. If no valid spawning area is found, then it shifts closer to a 32 block radius. And if both fails, it will spawn in a 5x5 area with the raid center being on one corner and the other corner 5 blocks into the positive quadrant from the raid center. So if this is the raid center, go towards the positive coordinate on both directions. A couple things of note are, a raid can spawn regardless of light levels. A raid will always make its way at the raid center. Now, the loot that you get from each raid depends on the game difficulty and the level of Bad Omen effect that you have. A player can get up to 5 Bad Omen levels depending on the ominous potion consumed or how many captains you've killed. Killing 1 captain gives you Bad Omen 1, 2 captains gives you Bad Omen 2, and so on. Raids on the easy difficulty will spawn with 3 waves. Raids on the medium difficulty will spawn with 5, and raids on the hard difficulty will spawn with 7 waves. A level 2 or higher Bad Omen effect will only add 1 extra wave per difficulty. Having level 3 or higher Bad Omen effect will not increase the number of waves or enemies that spawn, but instead it will increase the chances of the pillagers spawning with enchanted weapons. So to maximise the ominous potion to loot ratio, it's recommended that you only go up to Bad Omen 2. After you successfully defended against a raid, you will get the Hero of the Village effect. The level of the effect you get is the same as the level of Bad Omen you started the raid with. This effect gives you village trade discounts and a chance for villagers to throw gifts at you. At level 1, Hero of the Village will give you a 30% discount, and each subsequent level gives you an additional 6.25% discount, to a maximum discount of 55% at level 5. For a more detailed look at the types and amounts of enemies that spawn during a raid, you can visit the wiki link below. I hope that was easy enough for you to understand, and I hope that you learned something new. As always, if you want to learn more, all the wiki links used are down in the description. If there's anything I missed or you have any questions, drop them in the comments below. Peace.